Most people are taught from a young age that hard work guarantees success. They're told to study harder, work longer hours, sacrifice sleep, and eventually everything will work out. But reality proves the opposite. Every single day, millions of people work extremely hard and remain broke, stressed, and stuck, while others work less but earn more. And this video exists to explain why hard work alone is not the solution, and why believing that it is can quietly destroy your future. This is not an anti-work message. This is an anti-illusion message, because effort without direction is one of the most dangerous traps in modern society. The problem is not that people are lazy. The problem is that they are busy in systems that do not reward effort equally. Time is the most limited resource you have, and trading time for money has a hard ceiling. Yet most people never question this model. They just try to push harder inside a broken equation. Schools teach obedience, not leverage. Jobs reward time, not value. And society praises exhaustion, as if being tired is proof of progress. But exhaustion without progress is simply slow failure. The harsh truth is income is not determined by how hard you work, but by the value you control, the scale at which you operate, and the leverage you use. Leverage can be capital, skills, systems, media, or code, and those who understand leverage escape the hard work trap, while others remain stuck running faster on the same treadmill. Most people confuse movement with progress. They feel productive because they are busy, but busyness is often avoidance, avoiding learning new skills, avoiding risk, avoiding responsibility for outcomes. Real growth requires thinking, not just doing, and thinking is uncomfortable because it exposes flaws in your strategy. Another uncomfortable truth is that the world does not reward fairness, it rewards results. People say everyone should be paid fairly, but markets do not care about fairness. They care about supply, demand, and scalability. This is why one person can create a digital product once and sell it 1,000,000 times, while another works physically every day and barely survives. The difference is not effort, it is leverage. Mindset also plays a massive role. People who stay poor often believe stability is safety, but stability without growth is decay. Inflation quietly eats savings, time reduces energy, and skills become obsolete. Safety is often an illusion disguised as comfort. Risk is unavoidable. The only choice is whether you take controlled risks early or forced risks later. Most people delay learning money skills, investing, business negotiation, and psychology because they think hard work will compensate. It never does. Hard work only amplifies whatever direction you are already going. If you are in a low-leverage system, hard work makes you more exhausted, not more free. This is why the richest individuals obsess over systems, not tasks. They build assets that work while they sleep, not because they are lazy, but because they understand the math of time. Another myth is that success requires motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline and environment are permanent. Successful people design environments that make good decisions easy and bad decisions hard. They automate savings, learning, investing, and skill development, while others rely on willpower and burn out. Comparison is another silent killer. Social media creates unrealistic expectations, leading people to chase shortcuts or feel hopeless. Both paths lead to poor decisions. Real progress is boring, slow, and invisible at first, just like compound interest. The people who escape the hard work trap are not special. They simply learned how money actually works. They invested in skills that scale. They took responsibility for outcomes. They stopped blaming the system and started using it. And most importantly, they understood that effort is only valuable when applied to the right vehicle. Working hard on the wrong thing is the most expensive mistake you can make. The goal is not to work less. The goal is to work on things that multiply your effort. When you understand this, everything changes. Your choices, your habits, your patience, and your future. Hard work is not bad. Blind hard work is. And the moment you replace blind effort with leverage, thinking, systems, and long-term strategy, you stop being busy and start becoming free.
Why Arizona is running out of water right now. Arizona is not running out of water because of a single bad year or one unlucky drought. This is the result of decades of political decisions, aggressive real estate expansion, silent overuse, and a system that was never designed to support the population it now serves. For years, Arizona sold the image of endless sunshine, cheap land, and unlimited growth. Developers built millions of homes, cities expanded outward, not upward, and water was treated like an infinite resource, even though the desert never had enough to begin with. The truth is, Arizona's water crisis did not start today. It started the moment the state bet its future on a river that was already dying. The Colorado River supplies water to more than 40 million people across 7 states and parts of Mexico, yet its water rights were divided up over 100 years ago based on flow levels that no longer exist. Back then, policymakers assumed the river carried far more water than it actually does. Those assumptions were wrong, and today, Arizona is paying the price. Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the two largest reservoirs in the United States, are now at historic lows. These reservoirs were designed as buffers, insurance policies against dry years, but they are no longer backups. They are being drained to survive. Each year, the snowpack in the Rocky Mountains, which feeds the Colorado River, has declined significantly. Warmer temperatures mean less snow, more rain, and earlier melting. Water evaporates before it ever reaches reservoirs, and climate change accelerates this process every year. Arizona, meanwhile, continued approving massive housing developments, especially in places like Phoenix, Scottsdale, and the surrounding suburbs. Each new home requires water, not just for drinking, but for landscaping, pools, cooling systems, and daily life. While officials assured residents that there was enough water, the reality was different. Much of Arizona's growth relied on groundwater, pumping water that accumulated underground over thousands of years and does not easily recharge. Once it is gone, it is effectively gone forever. The state allowed developers to drill deeper and deeper wells, masking the surface shortage until the underground supply began collapsing in some areas. Groundwater levels dropped hundreds of feet, causing land subsidence, cracks in roads, and irreversible damage. Yet construction continued because stopping growth was politically unpopular and economically costly. Real estate drives tax revenue, jobs, and political power. Admitting there was a water problem would have meant slowing or stopping that growth, and no one wanted to be the one to say no. Now, the system is breaking. Arizona has junior water rights to the Colorado River, meaning when shortages are declared, Arizona loses access before states like California and Nevada. Recent federal water cuts have already reduced Arizona's allocations significantly, and more cuts are coming. This is why the governor is under pressure, because state law requires developers to prove a 100-year water supply before building new homes, but suddenly that proof is disappearing. Projects that were approved under old assumptions no longer meet the requirements. The state is facing a choice: approve homes without water and risk collapse, or halt construction and trigger a housing crisis. Either option carries massive consequences. Renters could see prices skyrocket, supply chains could break, cities could lose revenue, and investors could pull out. This is not just an environmental issue, it is an economic one. Arizona built a modern economy on an unstable foundation: cheap water, cheap land, and endless expansion. Now the bill is due, and there is no easy fix. Desalination is expensive and energy-intensive. Pipelines from other states are politically impossible. Conservation helps, but cannot replace decades of overuse, and climate trends are moving in the wrong direction. The uncomfortable truth is that Arizona is running out of water right now because the system was designed for growth, not sustainability. Leaders delayed hard decisions until the crisis became unavoidable, and now 3 weeks feels like 3 minutes. The question is no longer how Arizona grows, but whether it can continue growing at all.